Hey, it's Stan Shields here, Network Las Vegas. We're back for another one of our member spotlights. So today we'll be spotlighting two of our brand new members, Robin Grayson and Rich Simon. So hang on to your seats because we're going to have an exciting interview with these two. We'll see you in just a second. All right, and I am back again with you. This is Stan Shields, Network Las Vegas. We meet twice a month to network with other business owners. So if you've not joined us at any time and come to check out Network Las Vegas, it's simple, networklasvegas.com. Just come and check us out. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you wherever you are in the world and watching this broadcast. We're broadcasting live on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. So be sure, well, first of all, welcome to replay viewers. Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you. So whatever you do, make sure you like, subscribe, and follow. Don't know which platform you might be watching this on, but whichever one it is, make sure you like, subscribe, and follow. And more importantly, share it with your friends and your followers. Okay, so hopefully you like what you see here with us today, and you will come join us for one of our networking meetings. Again, we are meeting on the first and third Wednesday of the month, and it's at 11:30 a.m. It's always online. Go to Network Las Vegas, and you will then be able to register for any of the upcoming meetings. And so I want to welcome the two guests for us today. We've got Robin Grayson and Rich Simon. So Robin, tell us a little bit about who you are. Give us your 30-second commercial, maybe. Tell us a little bit more.
Well, thanks so much, Stan, for having me today. I am super excited about doing this. Quite frankly, this is my first live event I've ever done. So you'll have to let me know how I do at the end. But my name is Robin Grayson, and I am a licensed commercial real estate agent and a licensed business broker here in the state of Nevada. I work with people who are interested in buying a business, selling a business, or buying or selling an investment piece of property, commercial investment property. I also work with folks who are interested in a new lease, so helping them find a new location for their business. And then I have a second bucket which coordinates beautifully with what I do that will certainly benefit those who live outside the state of Nevada, since I am licensed in Nevada, but outside the state of Nevada, throughout the U.S. as well as internationally, I work with people to start and purchase new franchises. So I like to say, if you've ever wanted to buy a business or you've always wanted to get into real estate investing, I am your one-stop shop. Robin Grayson.
That is awesome. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Good. All right, Rich. And why don't you then take a 30-second spot here and tell us more about who you are and what you do?
Absolutely. So, yeah, again, thank you so much for the opportunity to introduce myself. My name is Rich Simon. I'm a solar energy consultant for Las Vegas, Nevada. That's basically what I do. I work with families that have an inquiry about the potential of renewable energy through the solar program. And that's what I do. I just work with families and try and see if we can get them a better alternative potentially for their energy, where if their home can supply it as opposed to having to pay for it, it's just an option. And I would love the opportunity to explain how it works, etc.
Very good. Very good. Two hot topics, I think. So let's go back to Robin for a minute here. When we think about, especially from the business brokering standpoint, COVID-19 has been a gigantic change in so many ways in our lives. And one of the statistics, I don't know the statistics on it, but we keep hearing how so many more people have decided to go into business for themselves. Many people are they don't want to go back to the employer, and they're finding ways to work from home and to create their own businesses and so forth. So Robin, what's your take on that?
Great question. And I get that quite a bit, Stan, when I'm talking with folks who are interested in buying a business or even starting a business. COVID-19 has done a couple of things, I think, to our industry. People have either decided to capitalize on what has occurred as a result of COVID-19, with more people staying at home, with more people seeing their jobs disappear and having to reinvent themselves because perhaps their industry was shut down. Believe it or not, sometimes when a new administration comes into office, national policies change, and that can affect where people sit as it relates to their career choice. So I've got a bucket of folks who see that as an opportunity. And then, believe it or not, I have a lot who have decided they want to sit on the sidelines and wait and see. Whichever works best for you, you've got to do what's in your best interest, because really my goal and objective is to help you make the right decision for yourself and your family. And business ownership is not for everyone, but if it is for you, one of the things that I get asked all the time is, what industries were COVID resilient? So that seems to be very popular for folks, is if they have decided to jump off of the sidelines and they want to get into the game and capitalize on tremendous opportunity, then that next question typically is, but I would like something that is not only recession resilient, but now COVID resilient. And believe it or not, Stan, there were a ton of industries that actually had their best year in 2021, or excuse me, 2020. It's really surprised me, having done this as long as I have.
I've heard of some of those industries, and I even had some friends in some of those industries that they had their best year ever in 2020. Right. And so it did not impact everybody equally. And so it was surprising as to which industries are the ones that were just blowing it out and just killing it. Right. Whereas other industries just got hit so hard that some of them just didn't survive. Right. So now how about in terms of what you do you have a specialty, or is there a specific industry that you like working in best, or anything along those lines?
Not an industry specific, but what makes me different, I would say, is I spend a lot of time on the front end with my clients and really understanding goals and objectives, both long term, short term, what their skills are, what their attributes are, what their expectations are. And there's a lot of education that goes into what I do, because I did mention not everyone should be a business owner, and I believe that wholeheartedly. So as a result, I spend a lot of time on the front end, really understanding them. And yes, there may be some industries that are more popular, that it may be, the go-to industries for specific years. But what's most important is really finding what's going to be best suited for you as the business owner. Clearly, franchising is one of my specialties, since I have been in franchising for over 30 years. So I certainly know a lot about franchising, but I do work with all industries: retail, non-franchise, service, online businesses, manufacturing, medical, you name it. I can work with pretty much any business, but I will say that there is an affinity for franchising, just a tad, only because that's where I got my start. And I've been doing that, let's say, the longest.
Okay. Very good. Yeah. And there's so much more that we could talk about in in your area, but let's give Rich a little love, right? So let's get him in on the conversation here, because another hot topic would be solar, right? I mean, that is a number one. Nevada is a great state for solar, and everybody gets intrigued with the idea, I think, of lowering their energy bills. right? And maybe taking that dive into the solar world and maybe doing something with that, especially overproducing on energy and being able to, I guess they can buy it back or whatever. But why don't you tell us a little bit more of what you're seeing with regard to the solar world?
Well, it's just I would say the business is booming. There's a lot of families that are just looking into this. It's renewable energy through solar power, and a lot of families are looking at that as their way of the most efficient way of doing so. I'll give you an example. You could put a windmill in your front yard, and it could provide power as long as there's wind. If you don't have any wind, then it's not producing any power. However, the amount of roof space that your house will have, and that is, say, southwest facing, etc., that's an area that is an absolute huge opportunity for doing something to counter what the bill is. Because basically your electrical bill is based on what you used at 100% of the month before. Now there's an alternative, which just basically is just a better, smarter way to go about the same type of living. So, I mean, that's what it's meant to do, is just the offset needs to be at least 100% is the way I work with families, or more, which if they're looking to do something such as if they're going to add a pool, if they're going to do anything that is going to increase in power consumption, if your house could provide 100% at least to the power you use per month, then you're in the good. I could get technical with what a bill looks like, where there's a bell curve, and you have like maybe a smaller month in, say, January, February, but it continues to climb to, May, June, July, August. Say when things get to where they're 115 degrees, if your house is providing the power that you use, hey, leave your AC on 24/7 if you want to. Why? Because your home is providing the power that you use. Families, you mentioned COVID-19. Families, when we weren't traveling, we weren't working, we were staying home. If it was 100% of the time, then guess what? Your consumption of what you used by being in the house all the time absolutely went up. And families are looking at a better, smarter way to go about how they live and how they direct their business.
Wow. So here's a question that I've always had with regard to who can have solar, or maybe everybody can, I don't know, but you mentioned southwest facing. Now, is that just primarily in the area of the country that we're in, or is that something that's true all over the country? Why southwest facing?
Because the sun rises in the east, it sets in the west, and where does it spend its most amount of time in between is the southern side, say in Nevada. Now, if it's, I'll just mention, like if it's Texas, if it's California, if it's Arizona, if it's Utah, the emphasis on in Nevada just being southwest facing is because that's what's going to create the most amount. So if your home is pointed at a specific direction, then obviously you would just pick the side of the roof that would create the most return, if that makes sense. So that's just how we refer to it, because like I say, the sun rises in the east, it sets in the west, and it spends its most time on that side. So
okay.
The whole idea is to maximize the amount you have when you have it.
Right. So now what about, are there homes that just won't work as far as solar is concerned?
Yes, that's part of what I do. Is there's an assessment. It's, to answer every question that the consumer may have on this conversion. But let's just say if there's not enough roof space, let's say the house is completely shaded as an example. If the house would not accomplish the goal that you're looking to accomplish, then unfortunately it may not be for that family. Okay. Now that's my job in finding out whether it is or if it isn't. So, because roofs are different, layouts can be different. The amount of sun that house may see can be, a factor. And so that's part of my job. Is the assessment is not only with the family that I'm working with, but the actual home and what it looks like and what's available. So
Okay. So now your info is scrolling across the bottom. So if somebody wanted to get an assessment of their home to see whether solar energy made sense, what would they need to do? And how much would it cost them?
Well, basically, the first assessment won't cost them a dime. Let's just say
it's always good news, right?
Absolutely, it's completely free. The idea is just to go in and gather information, answer every question, like you just mentioned. It's got to make sense. So that's part of the first part of the assessment, is making sure that it absolutely does. How to reach me? You call my phone number 702-351-6694, or you can email me at simonindyrich@gmail.com. I'm a guy that wakes up at 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm awake till probably 10, 11 o'clock at night. That's just me, which means, call, text me anytime. It's okay. And I look forward to working with as many families as I can.
Perfect. Awesome. Very good. Now, Robin, how about you? So if someone is thinking about going into business, and you made a very good point there that not everyone should go into business, and many people that do go into business, they really don't have a business. They bought themselves a job, or they created a job for themselves, which there's nothing wrong with. That's okay if that's what you want. But what's really your process? So if somebody wanted to go into business, what do they do to get in touch with you? Is there any charge for for an initial consultation? How does that work with you?
Great question, Stan. Like Mr. Simon, my initial consultation is free. We love that word. So they can either reach out to me via email, or they can give me a call direct. I also do work with folks, again, in all 50 states, certainly on the franchise side, or anyone moving into the state of Nevada who wants investments here in this state. And yes, typically the first consultation it's a phone consultation. It can be by video or by phone. Video is a lot more popular these days than it was a couple of years ago, but I think more people are just used to it and know how to work it. But they can give me a call. That consultation usually lasts between 30 to 45 minutes, where we talk about where they are in life, timelines, goals, objectives. And if business isn't the right vehicle, but they are looking at building their wealth, they are looking at building that financial independence and freedom for themselves and their family, then maybe we should look at real estate, commercial investing instead. So again, we can kind of talk through what might make the most sense for them. And of course, if they have a business to sell, working with a professional is the only way to go, in my opinion, because business owners need to do what they do best, which is to run their business, and allow a professional like myself to do what I do best, which is to package and market and present their business.
Excellent. Very good. All right, guys, that was fantastic. Now, both of you, we're doing this because of Network Las Vegas, and you guys were our spotlight speakers. I guess it was maybe last week or 2 weeks ago or whatever it was, who knows. But we wanted to make sure that we got this on video and that we were able to highlight you. So you've now been a part of Network Las Vegas for a little while. So what's your take on Network Las Vegas? Why should people come check it out and maybe join us for a meeting? Let's have Rich go first. How about that?
Oh, absolutely. Well, I just, I've done 2 of these, and just the people you meet and the opportunity that we have. I am finding there's no better way to introduce yourself to who you are and what you do, and this is a huge platform for it. So our first meeting, I learned a ton, just from the group. And then as far as the last meeting we had, it was our first introduction to do what we're doing now. So I love the fact that it's created a platform for us.
Perfect. Very good. Thanks. How about you, Robin? Any thoughts on that?
Absolutely. I have been involved in networking across a number of states, starting back in the early 2000s. So for me, I have attended a lot of networking events. I've done a lot of things. And again, COVID-19 really changed it for all of us. And what I really like about Network Las Vegas is that it is virtual. I do traveling. I have an RV and I'm out of town. And a lot of networking events that do require, let's say, in person requirements, or for folks who may do business in the state of Nevada, but maybe don't live here in the state of Nevada, as an example. This is an amazing format in order to do that, because I can still stay engaged and participate anywhere that I am. Additionally, Network Las Vegas is going to be doing more in-person events here in the city of Las Vegas. And I was just speaking with David yesterday, and I am on the social committee for the chapter. And we have some really exciting things planned from a social standpoint for those folks who do still want to get together in person as we venture out of our homes more and more. We're going to have some of those opportunities as well. So what I really like about it, bottom line, is that there's both online opportunities to connect and build relationships and generate referrals and all of those wonderful things that are necessary if you're in business, regardless almost of the business you're in. And then we also are going to have some great dynamic, value-oriented, face-to-face social opportunities as well. And one last thing, Stan, I can tell you, I've done a lot of networking in my lifetime. I've never had the opportunity to be part of something like this, a live presentation. So there is a true value and benefit of Network Las Vegas right there. Sorry to
Awesome.
hear. That's what happens when
there you go.
Right? That's what happens when you're live and outdoors enjoying. What's the temperature today, gentlemen? Like, this is unbelievable.
Who knows? I just know that it's nice and there's a breeze. So, you know.
Amazing. You're taking advantage.
Yes, we do. That's brilliant.
So it's nice that the temperatures have come down from 115 degrees, right? So
we got to enjoy them any way we can.
That is absolutely true. All right. Absolutely. So thank you guys for joining me so much. I appreciate it. And we are going to end our broadcast today, but just remember, you can find more about us at networklasvegas.com. And you're able to not only find our network meetings there, but you're able to find a lot of other Las Vegas networking meetings on that site. So go visit networklasvegas.com. Come join us, and hopefully we'll see you soon. All right. Take care, everybody.
Bye, everyone.